I guess Ashley does a good introduction. But it's Ashley Johnson, by the way.
Hi.
Oh my God. Best. Oh, right. Well, there we go. Can you hear it? No. You don't need it, do you?
What?
Hey?
I can't really.
There it is. A little bit. A little bit? A little bit more? You guys hear that okay? I feel like.
Testing. Okay. You got me loud.
Where is that? We're gonna get this figured out, and it's gonna be amazing. This one's super quiet. Whichever one.
I don't know. No.
You see this one?
Turn me down. Number 2 down. A lot. Oh. Number 2. Right. And then he wants up.
Oh wait, I switched. I think this was number 3. I just switched them.
Magic.
And now I'll put them back. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right. Are we good?
All right.
Why am I super loud?
Rock on.
I'm the question mark. The
Are you?
microphone.
Get rid of that microphone, or I'm gonna kill a person. And you all know I'll do it too.
Molotov.
Yeah, we'll just pick a different way. Everyone will be like, I want to be the baseball bat. Step forward, Billy. Today's your day. Well, hot damn, we're in Sacramento. That was, you guys, I'm kind of, get me up to speed. I'm kind of hitting the ground running. So, has it been awesome?
Yeah.
My name is Nolan North. Oh, damn it. Now you know we're the same person. I'm Troy Baker, and this is the amazing Ashley Johnson. And there was a phenomenal game that was met with just absolute critical acclaim that came out this year. The new Pokemon on DS.
It's working.
There we go. A game by a first-party Sony developer named Naughty Dog. It was their first game called The Last of Us. I mean, you guys don't even understand. 2.5 years just for Ashley and I to be a part of it, and that's from the inception. We're literally no. I'm sorry to take that in a really bad place. The literal inception of the game, we started about 4 years ago with Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley. And if any of you guys have seen some of the behind-the-scenes stuff or some of the talks that we've done about it, you know a little bit about it. But there's so much that happened over the last 4 years with this game, and all of us were scared shitless about making sure. My mic's cut off. That's weird. About whether or not this game was going to be good, and even more to the point, I mean, the joke around the office at Naughty Dog was, it's not The Last of Us, it's The Last of Naughty Dog. This is the last game that they'll ever make, because it was going to either be so controversial that people would not know what to do with it. Jack Tritton, the president and CEO of Sony, would have completely put the kibosh on the game because it was so racy. Or it would have been the most challenging, expensive, not just in dollars, but in actual time and energy spent on a game that Naughty Dog would have just, single file jumped off the top of the building. And I remember, and you remember this too, when we started seeing the review copies go out, and first of all, we showed the debut trailer at E3, or the VGA. This was the first time we saw it, 2011. People were freaking out just when they saw the Naughty Dog logo, and then it was quiet. And then as soon as it actually realized they ended, it was that captivating moment where they're like, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" So that was a good sign. But it's when those review copies came out, and people like Game Informer and GameSpot and everyone except for Polygon, basically, we're just blown away. And it's been really cool kind of hearing through Twitter and Facebook and smoke signals. Delson over here. Delson cosplay is awesome. how much you guys really like the game. And I'm really curious to, this is more, I mean, we could talk ad nauseum about this game, but I almost want to kind of find out from you guys, if you have any of those burning questions that you wanted to ask when you were playing it. Because this, to me, The Last of Us is probably it's the largest conversation starter. And I'm really kind of interested to get into that conversation. Are you guys cool with that? Yeah. So we can sit here and monologue and talk about what we've done, but who cares? So we've obviously got a microphone up here. So let's try and do this just as neat and orderly as possible. The reason why, normally we'll sit here and vamp for a while, but I kind of want to get to your questions because there's a lot of you. Ashley, are you cool with this? I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, right on. Crap. Because all the stories that we would probably tell, Wolfpack, are, am I right? Are you just a weird Jeff Bridges?
It's the dude.
Okay,
It's a
cool.
dude.
You win the silver medal.
Are we going with
She wins the gold medal.
How do you feel about the Eagles?
Hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Here we go. White Russian? Absolutely. I'm just gonna go find a cash machine. We're just getting a little bit of costume. Don't worry about it.
The dude abides.
What's great is I literally almost said the exact words, and then I heard her voice come out, and I was like, do I sound like? So yeah, guys, neat orderly fashion, line up if you have a question, and let's just jump into this conversation. Let's see how far we can take it in the next hour. Love the lady right there. I'm waiting for someone to jump and we can start freestyling too, like, all right, listen! No. Go for it.
This isn't on.
We'll turn the mic on.
Oh.
You know what?
Just say
I'll
what
hear you.
to say.
I'm going to repeat the question. Technology sucks. If you want to fix it, fix it. I trust you implicitly.
Okay, do you ever wonder what would happen if Joel's daughter never died? How would she survive in the world after the apocalypse and stuff?
She asked, did you ever wonder what would happen? But by the way, if you haven't played the game...
It's not really a spoiler, though.
It's like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you haven't played the game at all, you are in the wrong room. I love you. I love the man that he's like, oh God. It is going to be like meat that has been left out for a month in here. It's going to be so spoiled. Okay. So there's no way we can get into the conversations that I think you guys will want to get into without probably ruining some stuff. So either do the blah, 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 or I want you to stay and be a part of this, but I'm just going to let you know we'll probably have a ton of spoilers. Microphone keeps cutting out. The question that she asked was, are you guys ready? Everyone's cool with that? If you're here, you're growing cognizance, you realize you're going to get spoiled, okay? I'm going to let anybody get a chance to leave. Got me with you all. Sit down, you. The question that she asked was, do you ever think about what would happen if Sarah hadn't died? And what would that look like, and how would she survive in this world, and what kind of person would Joel be? I personally believe that moment was a watershed moment for Joel, and Sarah, it wasn't just Sarah that died, it was Joel that died that day as well. And the person that is, this is going to sound so pretentious, everyone was talking about how, you know, it's a zombie game, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, right, but just for the proper nomenclature. It could be said that the clickers and the runners and the bloaters and everything, those aren't the zombies. But I think that Joel is probably the biggest living dead person. Because I don't know how you would stay alive. And to me, it was a huge anchor for that character, for me to always latch onto. Because the reason why Joel is a survivor is because that's what you do. You just keep breathing. It's involuntary. And you have no agenda, you have no motive. You don't care if you die or not. But the reason why you keep living is because that's what you do. You wake up every morning, you eat, you breathe, and you don't die. So I think, man, that endless possibilities, but I know for a fact that Joel would be a completely different person. I don't think he'd be Mr. Rogers. But yeah, I think that would be a completely different story. What a very, I could go down the rabbit hole with that question. That would be incredible. What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer? Well done.
Thank you.
Hold on, girl star. That's your sister? How are you?
Hi, name's Mark. So I want to know, what was the most challenging scene you guys had to do together? Like, anything you had to retake many times because you thought the motion wasn't right, or something just didn't work out in the original script?
We know the answer to that scene. That question.
For us both together?
Yeah, both of you.
Ranch House.
Oh, the ranch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had, usually the way that we shoot is we have 3 days, and the first day we do a rehearsal. And the next 2 days we get in our mocap suits, and then we shoot all of the stuff that we rehearsed the previous day. And when we had to do the ranch house scene, on the rehearsal it was great. We didn't fully go there with the emotions because we were going to save it for when we actually shot the scene. And when we got there and we started shooting, neither of us were really connected with it. And what's happening? And we took a break. I feel like you told us before. I feel like you tell the story so well, so I'm gonna let you finish the story.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I've got a different way to tell it is because it was more on my side, I think. There's just times when you hit a brick wall as an actor, and you have to understand, I've been lying, which is essentially what an actor is. We're professional liars. I've been lying since I can remember. But Ashley has been doing this professionally since she's a kid. You're always learning, you're always developing. But there was just a weird, perfect storm about that scene that Ashley and I both got caught in, but I think I hit the wall first. And it was good. It was good. But it wasn't it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And this isn't pizza, you know, even when pizza's bad, it's still good, this is pizza. We weren't going to what a commitment from Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley and everyone at Naughty Dog to go, we're not going to move on until that's the one. So we get into this scene and we go through it, it's good, it's cool, we're hitting the beats, really cool dramatic stuff that's happening, and I'm, you know. You can look at both Ashley and I's eyes and just go, it just felt false. So normally it's like 3 takes, we're good. 4th take, we're just having fun. We get into like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th take. What the hell is going on? And Neil comes over and he was like, I was like, dude, can we just take a break? He goes, what do you need? He's like, give me 5 minutes. He goes, take 10. Take your time. And I go over and sit in the corner of the volume space that we shoot in, and just sitting on the palette. I'm like, what are you doing? You're thinking so much. You're trying to make sure that this point comes across, and that what we're saying and what's happening right now is so important that I just completely forgot about what the moment was, and I stopped listening to Ashley, because that moment of Ellie is so profound. Is this really all that they cared about? Which boy they're gonna date, which shirt to wear, really? This girl has been fighting for her life every minute that you've been with her. Everything matters. And it's not so much what am I gonna wear, how am I gonna live, how am I gonna eat, how am I gonna not get killed by a horrific way. And I finally just stepped outside of myself and of the scene and of the building and walked back in. First take, she does this amazing thing. It's just, we're in this moment together. And there's no Troy, there's no Ashley, there's just Joel, it's just Ellie. And I'm listening to what she's saying, as opposed to worrying about what I'm doing. And I'm listening to her say these ridiculous things like, why are we doing this? Why are we in this world trying to get any better? Because if this is all we have to go back to, why are we doing this? And Joel steps back into the paternal role that he hasn't done in 20 years, and he realizes how bad of a job he was at it. Wasn't that good of a dad, you know? And Ashley does this wonderful thing. She's like, everybody that I've ever been close to has left. Everyone, bam, she does this shove. Not in the script, man. That was some jazz. And it took it to a new level. We got done, and all of us were crying as I'm looking at Ashley, and it's just I'm seeing Ellie. And Neil Druckmann has this thing where if he's not happy with the scene, he'll turn on the outside of his feet, okay, like standing there to turn, and he'll scribble on a piece of paper, and he'll go, so I want to go again. That's how you know you screwed up. But when you know you got it, is when he turns around and has 3 words. Best battle. Which means that's the certain thing. That's what we're going with. And Neil just looks at us, he's caught up in the scene, and just gives this sly little smile and turns around and goes, best battle. And we knew that we were going to make something special. That was going to be special at one point. But that was one of those days where we walked away knowing that what we did was something extremely special. It's always what she did. Great question.
I told you to do a better job.
This thing on? So, my question pertains to the ending of the game.
Okay.
I really like.
Good Lord.
All right, I loved the game. It was so awesome, but like the part right after Joel basically deals with the Fireflies, he goes back to Tommy's town, and boom, game's done.
Right.
I expected like, oh, the town's overrun by spores. There's boomers everywhere. All this stuff, like clickers everywhere.
Yep.
Then boom, the game keeps going on for hours and hours. Like, what was your basically your take on the ending? Man, it can't stop playing back then. But I just wanted to know your guys' take on the ending. Like, how did you guys feel about how the game ended?
Ash?
I love the ending, and I know a lot of people were maybe they didn't like it. They were like, it was too short an ending. Like, what does it mean? Or that's it? Well, what? I need more. But I love the ending because the way I interpreted it was that Ellie totally knows that he's BSing, because I think she has a really good BS detector. And I think it was just like that moment of, okay, this is one person that cares about me enough to kill off rest of humanity and just be like, you know what, I love you, you're my family now. So it was like, in that moment of him saying, yeah, it's all true, I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like, I accept what you say, I accept your bullshit, all right? And, well, you know, a lot of people have interpreted it differently, but I'm a huge fan of the ending. And there were some different ones that they had.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, sort of where we said some other things. But I love that it was just very simple and it just ended on one word, just, okay.
I think that it's perfect in the way that it sits because exactly the way that you're feeling. And I think that there's this deficiency in cinema and in games as well, where we're spoon-fed everything, right? We don't, you know, we're doing that whole baby thing. We're like, putting food in our mouth and we're spitting it out. And I love it. You will never have more of a rapt attention of a child than when you've been doing that and you stop and they go, And I think that it was a very brave choice for another time to do that. We easily could have gone Hollywood with this man easily could have gone Hollywood and Lynn Slayer. But I think what's more important is for everybody who's playing that controller at that point is so heavy, that you just go, and that's what the ending is. And I think it's really cool. She originally interpreted it that way. It took me a process to get to the point where I was like, okay, so she sees right through it and goes, okay, but what a powerful statement. And we knew immediately that it was going to be the most polarizing ending to a video game, I think, ever. And right about this time is when the Mass Effect 3 thing went down. And I looked at Neil and I was like, don't back down. Don't back down. Stick to your guns. Because I respect everyone at BioWare and for what they did for Mass Effect and going, okay. There's an itty ending. We're going to give you a new one. But how much do you respect it for that? Would you rather than going, it sucks, doesn't it? Eat it. So there's an argument to be made for both sides. And when you've got something that could have been tied up better because you're ending a franchise, we'll see. I understand. It's kind of like Matrix. Everyone was like, oh, the third one sucks so bad. It's like, what did you want? What did you want? There's no way you could top that. There's no way you could end the story any better. But with this one, I was like, don't do anything different, man. Don't. And what's really cool, Neil Druckmann, he told us one time, he said, the litmus test for this game, when I know that I'm doing something right, is when I have to force myself to press send on the email with the script that we're going to shoot that next week. When it cost him something, when he goes, they're going to hate me. That's when I know that I'm doing it right. If it's easy to send, if it's easy to put out there, if it's easy to shoot, then how much is this really worth? So I love the ending, and I love seeing the conversations about it, because I mean, people took it to a place that I never could have. It's been really cool to see. I want people to extrapolate. Longest answers to questions ever. I think someone was just conceived and born in like a college. So, thank you for asking that.
Yeah, thanks for answering that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Top that question. Yeah. Did Jesus come back?
I have two.
It's a ridiculous question. The answer, of course, is yes.
First question, what's your favorite corny Ellie joke?
She had this shit. It was the computer one. What am I drawing a blank?
There was one that I really liked, and all of these, somebody asked me yesterday, and all I could remember was the punchline. But there was one that I really liked because when we were recording it,
You did like 3 pages of those.
oh, we did so many of them. So many of them, I was like, what does that mean?
And understand
I was like,
that
oh yeah.
all of those like responses that you hear, that's Ashley in there going to get to the other side. It's stupid. It wasn't scripted. It was just read these jokes.
There was one to do with the apocalypse. And then I remember when it ended, I was like, oh, too soon. And then I was like, oh, wait, oh, that kind of works. There was one with the booby trap.
Oh,
Remember I said when I trip in a bra. I
Yeah,
guess it was a
booby trap.
That's funny, boobs.
My second question is, did you guys record in order of chronological order of the game, or did you go out of sequence?
No, a lot of it was done out of sequence.
Okay.
And a lot of it was done. We reshot a lot of stuff. The philosophy of Naughty Dog is iterate. We shot, the very first thing that we shot was the truck scene. They ain't even hurt, driving through and everything. So it was the very first thing that we shot because they knew that was going to be the first thing that they needed for the E3 demo, or Yeah. Whatever they showed after,
Yeah, that
after VGAs for the E3, like 6 months later or whatever. And that happens right before you get to Billstown. So I mean, or after Billstown, so I mean, that's halfway through the game. For the most part, for the same thing that drives films, like the order that scenes are shot with films, is locations. And it's almost the same thing with games a lot of times, not all the time, but sometimes, is what level is built. What level do we know? This is what the building looks like. They're going to go through this door, up these stairs, out that window, down here is going to be this, and you know. Because otherwise, you can't really shoot because you don't know. And even then, we were like, well, there's probably going to be a fountain here, but we don't know. Is there water in it? Don't ask these questions. So there was a lot of times where we would actually come back and go, okay, this used to be a wall. It's not a wall anymore. It's a cow. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so no. Well, yeah. No. He still thinks it's the Pokemon DS game. So yeah, but I mean, it's really cool because you really rely on your team to go, okay, remember this is where we were. And there was always that, you know, we're standing at the door to walk in and you kind of see people, we're goofballs. So we're like, dude, you know, fart sounds or whatever. And Neil would go, remember, you're running for your life. Remember, you're running for your life. We're like, right. Just came out of gameplay, being chased by a pack of clickers, and go like, ah, you know, hair on fire. So it's always fun. So trying to stay in the moment was always something good. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Step forward and be recognized.
Okay, so I also have 2 questions.
Okay. Here we go. Look what you started.
I have 17
Before she-
questions.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so my question is, at one point in the game when Marlene is holding them up, you know, in the hospital or whatever and saying,
Souvenir,
this
sorry.
is what Ellie wanted. Like, she has that whole scene where Joel's holding her and he's saying, this is what she wanted. Do you think that's actually what she wanted? Because I was never really sure. It's not like she knew going in that she was, you know, like what they were actually going to ask of her.
Yeah, you know, the way, and this goes with obviously her decision at the end of the game. The way I interpreted it was that I think through the whole journey, I think Ellie was fully prepared to give whatever was needed to be the cure, whether that meant death or not. And I think because her whole life she never had somebody that she was very close to. You know, everybody left her. She didn't have family. She was always in the orphanages, and that's why I think at the end when he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, you weren't really the cure," and she says, "Okay." I think it's the first time, you know, she's like, "Okay, this is the first thing that I found to live for." So. But I think before that point, I think she was fully prepared to die if that was the choice that was made.
Really thought-provoking question too. You can take that in a lot of directions. Yeah. What's up, Bird?
What's up?
I was just saying, what's up, Bird on the shirt?
Oh, this is an eagle. Somebody got it for me. I was like, okay, I'll take it. Anyways, guys, great job on the game. Really liked it. I have a question to you about the surgery room scene when you go get Ellie.
Okay.
Every time I talk about The Last of Us, like the conversation about how everyone did something different with that surgery room scene. Everyone seemed to have like something like a different way of handling it. Like for me, I went in and I killed the guy because he went after me, and then I killed the second guy because I thought I was going to go for alarm. But when I went for the woman, I was about to shoot her, but she screamed like at the top of her lungs. It kind of shook me. And it was like, what am I doing? And kind of like, okay, I'm not going to kill. What am I doing? I need to get Ellie. I need to get my priorities straight. So I got Ellie and ran out there. I want to ask about what was your own experiences with that scene? How did you handle it?
Blew everybody away.
Obviously. Yeah,
Please
I,
don't shoot me, I've got a family. Sitting there pointing at him to see what all he says. Please, I've got a dog. Please, I've always wanted to see parents. All right, that's enough.
yeah, okay, I just found out recently that you don't have to kill them.
Yeah.
But when I went in, I shot the dude first. And then, just because I thought that, I was like, you're dead. And then I had the same thing, where I walked over to the woman, which was played by Laura Bailey.
I knew it.
She was,
I thought it was Laura Bailey.
Oh, she was so, and I didn't know that until after, and then later I was like, I'm sorry, Laura. And I was standing there, and she was screaming, and then I had the same thing where I was like, I want to kill this woman. She was like, no, please stop. And I was like, well, if I keep her alive, maybe she's gonna, do something. And then she's screaming, and I was like, all right. And I was like, all right, let's go. Yeah, so I feel bad, but yeah, I killed everybody.
Just willy-nilly.
Hey, I'm delivering the mail. Do you have a dog in this race?
First playthrough killed everybody. Second playthrough killed all but Laura Bailey. Just because I felt like she had suffered enough. But it would, just because I wanted to see what happened, and I was literally the guy that was just standing there pointing on it, because there's a beautiful thing that happens in your second playthrough, and if you haven't gotten there yet, I really challenge you just to take a quick pause. Who's on their second playthrough? Okay, or second or more playthrough. Have you found the words, they didn't suffer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you said what?
That was on the highway, right?
No, my friend, that was on Subway, Henry and Sam.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I will say this, who here has followed the saga of Ish?
Yes.
Okay. Good God. We knew nothing of that. Nothing of that. That was just like Neil and a couple other people that were going, I'll write this on that thing. And they created this whole sub-narrative about this guy. I'm like, what happened to Ish? It's one of those games you just hang on to. I know you can get $15 or whatever at GameStop, but it's a game that it's kind of like owning Godfather or Goodfellas, or just one of those movies you're like, I'm gonna watch this again because I haven't done this or play this again. Second playthrough and third playthrough, man, you'll follow the story of the saga of Ish, find the words like they didn't suffer. When I found that, is one of the most impactful moments in the game, even with the prologue and the ranch house and everything else, because I literally dropped the controller and was like, oh dear God. It was amazing. It was just something and that goes to the environment artists for them doing that, because it was all textural stuff. It was amazing. Hi, how are you? I'm just, can I answer your question?
Huh?
I didn't kill Laura Bailey, she killed everybody.
Yeah, you killed her and didn't kill her the second time. Anyways, thanks guys.
Thank you. She's got to go, one question. Just try not shut up. Just one question.
I have one question and one request. The question is, have you ever expected Last of Us to be this popular and this successful? And my request is, I really, really, really wanted to see you sing and play guitar, Troy, but due to my circumstances, I can't. And I was wondering if you can do me a small favor and sing a little bit so I can get the idea of what it's like.
Well, thank you very much, man. And I'm excited you were able to hang out with us tonight. I think, first of all, to answer your question, I knew that we both knew that we were going to make something really, really good. But just because you make something good doesn't always mean it's going to be successful. You know, there are plenty of great musicians, great art house movies, great TV shows, or whatever. They're awesome, and then nothing ever happened with it. Soul Eater?
Yeah.
No, my friend, what's your this is nothing to do that's indicative of what tonight is going to be like. But Eric, may I call you Eric? Well, Eric, we're friends now. let me explain to you what's going to happen. At one point, if not 100 times over this weekend, these words are going to be said to me. Sing the Excalibur song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opportunity to get it out of the way.
Smart man.
So if you want to hear it, get your cameras up. Because it's not going to happen ever again. Excalibur! It tastes minty. Excalibur! Oh, ow. Bring the dubstep. From the United Kingdom, I'm looking for him. I'm going to Sacramento, California. Excalibur! Excalibur! Excalibur!
Wow, that was awesome.
Wow.
I want you to sing it again.
On.
Everything happens for a reason, John. Sometimes people need to crash other people's pants.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Nolan!
Well, you got the gig. You can afford a whole shirt. That was, I'd never seen the Excalibur thing. That was awesome. Get it up again. What the hell is he doing here? I'm just here to watch the masterwork.
And take Ellie.
8. What?
And take Ellie.
I'm scared.
Here's a good question. Who had absolutely no idea that it was Nolan as David?
Oh, yeah.
I did not.
The rest of you were liars. The rest of you were liars. That was the first time for Nolan and I to ever do mocap together. Yes, it was. But it was also not his name. Here's the crazy thing. You want to take it? Tell them. This is your thing. I actually got to do mocap with both of them. Is this I'm just waiting to ask. As David, I did all the mocap here with Ashley. You did it with Ashley, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. And, is that, yeah, that's right.
Remember when Joel interrogates the guys in the chair?
Yes.
And there's that one little sad guy crying and everything. Hey man, that was me. and they actually they put Liam, didn't they? They actually redubbed my voice using another actor. And but we got to do it, and he got to broke my neck, right?
Yeah, the sheer irony that the first time that Nolan and I worked together, I am torturing the hell out of him. It was not lost on anyone at 99. They're just like, but it has to be said that up to like 2 years before that or whatever, he even before that, I was the guy that when you guys were doing, I guess you were still doing 3. I was hanging out outside of the room where they were doing all the VO and just going, if you need anything, I'll die, I'll scream. Begging Amy Hennig for a job. Because I was such an Uncharted fan, and Nolan North fan. So, idiots.
You gotta say straight higher.
But it was so great because we knew Neil wanted to put Nolan in the game so badly, just because of this much fan service, but also just because you get the best. And it would be great for everything that Nolan's done for Naughty Dog to do something for Nolan as well and give him a really different kind of role to work with. And the guy has been, I'm talking like you're not even here.
Yeah, this is your panel.
Yeah, but I honestly, I think that,
stop.
My lovely, my lovely wife and I were my wife, this is the beautiful little one right over there, which she hates.
The one with the beard.
Yeah, the one with the drunk guy that's pissing himself right now. Hey, honey! We were talking about this the other night. I was like, what a brave choice for a game to go from having this villain in Tess was originally the villain. If you guys, there's some great articles that came out at PAX because while we're here, Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley were up at Seattle for PAX Prime, talking about some of the original ideas for the game that never made it into the actual game. And one of those was that Tess was actually the main villain. It was the main antagonist that was going to chase Joel and Ellie across the country. And there was this idea that they were going to do this cannibal king, but he's like, I'm not sure what to do with that and what that exactly looks like, and I don't want it to be too mustache twirl with arch. And I said, well, don't get Nolan. Really, the joke fell flat? Damn. All right.
The delivery, it's a little too fast.
But is that what it was?
You're too quick for the
Okay. So they ended up completely changing the Tess thing and making Tess this great little, almost pseudo love interest, I guess you could say, for Joel. And they created this amazing character with David. They had the idea for David. And then this thing happened. I want you to talk a little bit about David because I think he's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say before he says this. I don't think that David was a bad guy.
Finally, someone who agrees with me.
I don't want to be creepy. I don't want to be creepy. I think that what he did was absolutely wrong. But you tell me at one point where he goes, all right, I'm a bad guy. No, he did nothing wrong. And I think that's honestly.
Ellie broke his finger.
You're all wrong. And if you watch the behind the scenes, you'll see how I very eloquently explain myself. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? He's out there. There's not a lot of food. They got to make certain sacrifices. They got to do certain things. Got to eat people. Hey, you're in a plane crash in the Andes, and all of a sudden, Jerry Garcia here looks really tasty. And he's the first to go. Bacon. We're chopping you up. And each year we're gonna,
I hope I taste good.
You're delicious because you've lived a clean life. Yeah, but again, the deer, that might have been the last deer ever, It's kind of like the way I justify the way, but if you see my kids get upset, oh, somebody ran over a squirrel. Honey, that was the Hitler of squirrels. They died so the squirrels could live. It's like, oh, I get it. There's a lot of Nazi squirrels in my neighborhood, so that is getting but no, desperate times, and then, okay, let's say, we don't know what the circumstances are with that kind of thing. David, if he walked into this room, yes, lock him up. Strap, just walk him up and take him out. But in that, I think Troy's right, in that circumstances, here's, this is a crude way of saying fresh meat, but here's somebody, what if they're inbreeding? All of a sudden, there's babies with 2 heads. It's like, you know, it's weird stuff, you don't know. There's teeth in your armpit. You don't know. So they have to finally get something. I'm just really talking to these two.
The rest of you are just being. What I think it is, for me, and what I love about this game is that it's so open to interpretation, and nobody's right, nobody's wrong, or nobody's wrong. Everyone's right.
No, she's wrong.
But it's we watch it through the lens, the rose-colored glasses of the way that our society currently is. And if you took that away, 20 years from now, dude, I've seen stuff break down way faster. And if you completely removed any kind of social order or morality even, and made it purely based on survival, which is exactly what all of these people are, their culture is based on the survival, it looked different than what it looks like now. And I think that specifically with David, he even says, he was like, to the contrary, I've been nothing but honest with you. I have not done anything wrong. I've saved your life. I've fought side by side with you. I've told you, I've been very upfront with you about who we are, what we want, and everything. You're the one that's lied. You're the one that's been deceptive. You're the one that's tried to kill me. So there's nothing, I think it's such a beautiful, very complex and intriguing character.
And to that point, though, that's exactly what makes this game so amazing, is the fact that the heroes do questionable things.
Right.
I mean, Joel murders two people. The one guy gives him the information, I'll put them out on the map, and he just breaks his neck. Yeah. He doesn't even think of there's no remorse. He just, where David's the one trying to protect his people, and yes, you're right, I mean, in a certain way, way not cool, but in those, under those circumstances that none of us, thank God, will hopefully ever have to deal with, but he has his own, within his, it's like, within his, his group, his community, he's doing what he can to survive. And these two actually, and that's the great beauty of the juxtaposition of this game. You know, the fact that the heroes that you're playing and you're rooting for do some questionable things. Right. Whereas the people who are villains, and yes, by the end, when David is like, he's on an angry booty hunt, let's face it, and he gets rebuked enough, he's like, now it's go time. And,
Horrible boss battle too, man.
Rainbows in my head like a cassava melon.
You see the thing just sitting there going,
Oh my God, Troy, Ashley's here. Hi.
So bad about this, dude.
Really, this was not. We never should have set up.
We've got like 5 minutes left.
I'm gonna give you 10. How's that?
10?
Yeah.
Are you after this?
No, I'm done. I just came to see your hat.
You should get questions. These people wait to ask questions.
Okay. Mainly the big thing I want to ask is the scene with Tess's death. Just how much went into that, particularly, Troy, your line when you say, "This is over, Tess." I actually got chills and dropped my controller. Wow. It was the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen in a video game. And I go back and replay just that scene so I can see that. And
Any worship, man. She's absolutely phenomenal. And what she did and what she brought to that character was just truly sublime. She was amazing. And there's a phrase called 1-to-1, which means that what went in is what came out, right? There's no, if you were looking at it as a ratio, it's not 2-to-1. They didn't have to add a lot more so that we get this. It was 1-to-1. You really see it when she does that turnaround, when she steals herself. She just goes, ooh, that's what makes me drop my controller. There was a lot that went into it. There was several different variations where Neil was like, "You're not angry at all. You're very compassionate. Now you're really angry at her." That whole scene evolved into what it finally ended up being. It was incredible. But I hats off to Annie because she just was a great character in Tess to be found, and she's the one that dug it up and found it. Really cool. Great question.
thank you.
Yeah. Rocket Man, what you got? I'm not calling you Rocket Man, I'm just saying rock it, man. Anyway.
So,
Hi, Cliff.
hey, hi Troy, hi Nolan, hi Ashley. So yeah, I kind of was gonna ask something about Annie Wershing's character Tess, but I kind of already answered. You already answered that already. So I'm just gonna ask for like a request. Do you think you can say the line? What was it? Oh, Ellie, you're treading on some mighty thin ice. Because that was a pretty badass line.
What a powerful line. Ellie, you are treading on some mighty thin ice. It's really not as good up here. Yeah. Say the line. Put on this dress. That's later. Big Cliff, what you got?
Yeah, hi Troy. Shoot, I was doing my best like in line because like I just recently got the game, trying to do my best to avoid spoilers, and I'm playing on hard with no listen mode activated. I was wondering, it's like you're in The Last of Us, but you were also in BioShock Infinite, both of which were Game of the Year contenders. I wanted to ask, like, from those two experiences, like which one, like how did those experiences differ, and from the scripts, which one kind of gave you like a bigger emotional impact?
Oh wow! I mean, first of all, as far as the difference, man, on in every way, form, definition of that word, because they're just two completely different experiences, and they're telling two different stories, so they're going to impact you in their own unique ways. And the writing that Ken Levine does is he's a mad genius. You know, the story that he was trying to tell and the way that he was conveying it, I think that only he could do. And then with The Last of Us, to be doing those things side by side, a lot of times was kind of crazy. I mean, you kind of shake your head a little bit. And the cool thing is that with Booker, it was almost like, what's the least that you can do in this, and you really don't need to perform. And Neil Druckmann has a similar philosophy as far as what's the least that I can say, what's the least that I can do to convey this thought. So there's very much an economy of words with it. But there were some specific moments with Joel, and especially with Ellie, that called for a different response than what Booker would have brought. You know what I mean? So it's just two different experiences, but they can't compare. It's like it's not apples to oranges, or apples to apples. Orange to orange. That's a game, right? Straight vodka. Straight vodka. So yeah, that's the question, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and actually, you're actually starting to become like, because like Nolan North is like.
Don't say it.
So many.
Don't you say it. Don't say it. Long live the king.
I have to pass the torch.
Man. Why do you hate my kids? Why do you hate my children? Now you gotta know my kids. Now you gotta know it. Daddy, what? Go to school. They have English accents. Sorry, eat the rest of your porridge. We used to take this boat to China to stitch Nikes. Oh, what? Okay, let me use North Korea. You wanna get involved with that first? Uncle Kim Jong wants to see you. You man, teacher!
The guy just executed his girlfriend. He executed his ex-girlfriend, which a lot of us can't blame him.
I really wish all my exes were dead.
You don't know them. Oh, I do. I don't have to. Oh, that awkward, like, oh, honey, this is. Sorry, this is.
I just want to know if she said the words, "Can we just be friends?" Sure. It's terrible.
We can be friends.
Nah.
We can be friends at supper. Ellie.
She talked too much. We're having Ellie for dinner.
I'm shy, I'm sorry.
Well, what you got, Axl Rose? It's the shirt. I'm not saying like a sad, tired, dried up individual who's probably just never go outside with it. Saying it's the shirt. It's Guns N' Roses, the lead singer.
May I say something before I ask my silly question?
Yes.
I have a Tumblr group with about a little over 10 people, and they couldn't make it because they all live out of state. And
Okay.
They told me to tell you all I said hi. They said hi.
Well, thank you very much, Tumblr followers.
Hi, Tumblr group. I'm Troy Baker.
I kill small children.
Wait. There's one right there. He's not even paying attention.
You'd be a great afternoon snack, wouldn't you? You're not allergic to chocolate, are you? Good. Real good.
Hi, Tumblr group. What's your silly question for?
That was on
Troy?
camera too. That's what's so great. It's no evidence. There's no state's evidence.
See, you have to cross the line.
Just
Because it's the only way I know I have one.
And my silly question is, if you were a mint, what flavored mint would you be?
Probably mint. Mint flavored, like wintergreen or spearmint.
What do you mean, like, are you saying if you were a lozenge? Because I would be wintow green, not wintergreen, wintow green. I like that. I like wintow green. If I were mint, if I were a lozenge, lose. I'm not trying to be funny.
I'd be a
I want to be a Rico too. What would you be, Ashley? What kind of candy would you be? What kind of candy would you be?
I don't know, a mint? Isn't that an actual flavor?
It's a flavor.
You should be a butterscotch.
Like cinnamon? With cinnamon?
Like cinnamon.
I could probably be cinnamon.
All right.
That's a stripper's
We were fully prepared for the horse-sized duck or the duck-sized horse question, but the mint just derailed us. Horse-sized duck, by the way. One more question.
No, a Werther's. I'd be a Werther's.
What?
No, I'm a Werther's. I'm a hard candy. I'm a boiled sweet. Would you know what's the boiled sweet? Yours would be a caramel.
Okay, let's give a
All right.
big round of applause to our panelists.